Do you want to mute your TV, or are you just going to be a Packer fan for a while, or a Saints fan, whatever?
My TV's muted. You can make things on zero. You can hear it.
Well, I don't know whose I was hearing. I was hearing somebody's, and it was before Joe was on. But whatever.
Welcome.
It's no longer on.
Welcome. Nothing is on. The light is on, but no one is home. That is the status of our Chicago Bears. Welcome in to another edition of the Chicago Bears Believe in Monsters podcast. Oh my gosh, part of the Believe Network. Our Bears took it up the rear end, losing to the Detroit Lions 34-17. Ben Johnson auditioned for the world to see. Auditioned for, 56,000 people were in attendance, so not a sellout, and reportedly a large contingent of the 56,000 or Detroit Lions faithful. We're here to get you through the misery. You follow Lucas Berry at lberry_40 you follow Chris Krogman at ShyBears1985 and myself at Joe Gaither6. Only a couple more weeks of this bull bleep. Lucas Berry.
I'm so happy we play on Thursday this week. That way we can just get the game out of the way on a short week, and then it's finally the last week of the season.
Amen.
Get me through this damn season. I don't even care if they win. Sure, it would be cool to see them win one game. If they're due it, it's going to be versus Seattle, but I don't care. I don't care at this point. Caleb Williams, just don't die. It would be cool to see him set the passing record, but again, I don't care. Which he will set the Bears all-time passing record with 288 in both games.
Really?
He's close.
He can catch Eric Kramer with 288 in each game, which would put him at right around 3,900 passing yards for the season, or just under.
That's incredible.
And he's number 6 in the all-time list without throwing an interception. So I think he's like 5 passes away from being in the top 5 and surpassing Derek Carr. But some other names at the top of that list are Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady.
For rookies or
most passes without an interception?
Like without not being a rookie. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
He already holds the all-time record for a rookie. I think he's like well over by like 70 passes or so.
Fuck.
I want to throw those two things are insane to think about when you juxtapose.
Is that a meaningful stat, Joe, to not throw interceptions?
It is like what Joe's. I think what Joe's going into is because
to juxtapose
it's not like because it's not like he's not doing anything. It's not like he's throwing for like 133 a game, or he's only throwing like 14 passes a game. I mean, he's not taking risks. I mean, he's taking some risks. He's had some
288 times 2 is 576. He's 576 yards away from the all-time record, and the Bears have been asshole. Just terribly bad. Just awful. Wow. To me, that just says like, oh, if this is the floor.
Dude, the funniest thing to me, and I texted you guys a couple weeks ago, and like when people say shit lives rent free, I hate it. But like this shit has lived rent free in my head for weeks. That this asshole came up to me at church behind me and was just like, "Oh, I never thought I'd say this, but Mo Nix is better." And I'm like, "Oh my god, dude!" I'm like, I can't like sit here and make a sound argument with you. So I'm gonna argue like a fucking second grader and be like, "No, he's not." And he's like, "Yes, he is." And I was like, "All right, bro." Like, and now I just can't get it out of my head. And it's like. People think like casuals are just like, oh yeah, well he's gonna win Rookie of the Year. It's like, well, that's fine, but that doesn't mean anything. Like you switch those two people's position, and Caleb wins Rookie of the Year. You know, I mean, Sean Payton does a much better job with Caleb Williams than Eberflus and company did, right? I mean, it's just
it is funny how the goalpost moves both ways too. Like. I'm sure the guy's main argument for Bo Nix being better is, well, the Broncos are playing good and they're in the playoffs, so you could say the same for Jaden Daniels. But then you'll also have some numbskull that'd be like, oh, Drake May's incredible. Wins don't matter. And it'd be like, okay, why doesn't that apply to Caleb? It doesn't, because people just fucking hate his guts for whatever reason. And it is the most bizarre thing.
I'm sorry. And the Bears are a polarizing franchise.
For
I
sure.
don't-
But I mean,
the funniest thing
Patriots
about that-
downright suck. And people will give
But they
May his
did.
flowers.
But they didn't, dude. But the Patriots forever have the dynasty on their side. They can forever say, "Look at all these rings," and it doesn't matter who was there and what happened. It's like franchise history. The Bears don't have that. We have like fucking 20 years now of just mediocre to bad. And
Jimmy
it's just-
Man, best
and I
quarterback
don't
ever.
understand why the Bears are a polarizing franchise. The only reason they're a polarizing franchise is because Bears fans are fucking idiots. And we're loud and stupid and hopeful, and we're like Cubs fans. And wait till next year. There's no next year.
That's where I am. Luke, Chris, I want to ask you something. You got two young boys. We often joke that they're our younger brothers. They're coming up on the age where they're going to be watching sports. I think they're probably not. I don't think they're quite there yet. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're probably right on the cusp of that age. Have you thought
Make them
about
Packers fans?
what are you thinking about passing the Bears on to your sons?
I mean, I don't see us leaving Denver, and I don't see them not ending up as Bronco fans at some point. But I mean, my 8-year-old watched a decent amount of the Bears game with me last Sunday, and it was nice. So I'm not going to force it upon them. They've also asked for jerseys. Like when I got the Caleb jerseys and whatnot, they asked for jerseys of both, my team, and then you guys know Janelle's a Steelers fan, so they asked for jerseys of both teams. So I basically leave it up to them. I'm not going to push it upon them, but it would be nice to share in the misery, I guess. But at the same time, I don't want to pass down or be like 75 on TikTok watching my son be like, "Why'd you make me a Bears fan? You're such an asshole." Because Virginia will probably still be alive.
Of course, Crypt Keeper.
132 years old.
So do you think the Broncos have any chance that they could be fans of, or do you think it'll be between Steelers and Bears?
I think they could end up being Bronco fans, like I said.
There you go.
They got enough friends at school that will
the Sean Payton era.
I mean, how long could he be here?
5 years max total.
Yeah, I think they're gonna.
They'll be up on the next coach. Will be their favorite. Sean Payton will be their Dick Duran for me. Dick Duran was my first Bears coach.
What cracks me up, not cracks me up. An interesting thing happened a few months ago where my 8-year-old's friend, who's this little girl, and she just gets him. So she's like is one of his best friends. But she came over, and I don't remember if it was like around Halloween or what, but she had a Broncos cheerleading outfit, costume, whatever you want to call it. She was wearing a Broncos cheerleading gear. And we were talking about like football, and my sons are very much like love or hate. Like, oh, we hate the Broncos. I'm like, bro, we don't hate the Broncos. We're just not fans of the Broncos. We hate the Packers, the Lions, and the freaking Vikings. And your mom hates the Bengals and the Ravens and the Browns. Like the Broncos are kind of just there.
Yeah.
And so she says to me, "Why don't you like the Broncos? They play for Denver." And the way she said it, like I love my city. Like I love living here. And it just made me think like, okay, like these players, like they play for this city. Like they play for our entertainment. They play for us. Like it just made me kind of rethink the entire concept of like being a hometown fan and like not.
Yeah, but that doesn't
not
apply
hating
if you didn't grow up there.
Yeah, but I like it here now, and I live
Yeah,
here.
Right.
hey man, the
That's
Bears
where I
are so
live.
bad. If you want to turn in your card,
Well, no,
Oh,
Joe, that's not where
I
I
can't
was
do
going.
that, Joe. Like I can't
My
even do it. There are pieces of me that want to. Like I would like, okay, can I like put my tail between my legs and go be a Steelers fan with my wife's family? And then I'm just like, fuck that shit. Like I'm not doing that. But here we are, sucking as usual.
you'd be with a competent organization. I don't know, the Steelers bad years. They're like, we weren't at the top of the division, but we were pretty decent.
Yeah, but you lose
Lucas,
in the first round of the playoffs every year.
That's okay.
they have as many rings as any other franchise, though.
Yeah, at least you're in your mix.
Even if most of them came in the 70s. Listen, what were you trying to say, Lucas? I know I didn't grow up here, but it doesn't matter. Where I grew or where I was born didn't have a freaking football team, and where I moved to, like when I was younger, didn't have an original football team anyway. I moved to Arizona, which was the freaking Cardinals, which moved from St. Louis, which were originally a Chicago team. So it's like now we're back to Chicago anyway. But I mean, if like you wanted to, somebody told me once you should pick your fan or you should pick your fandom based on the closest stadium to where you were born, which I would be a Vikings fan at that point, which I did not realize because I like where I was born. I was only 5 when we lived there, so I didn't know where it was geographically to the stadium. But we drove to Minnesota once because that's where my cousin got married, and we drove right past my birth city, and it was only like an hour away. So there's that.
I don't know. Well, we all ended up being Bears fans, unfortunately. So now we're dealing with this shit again. So we got our ass kicked again, but at least the quarterback looked good. Keenan Allen is playing like freaking Jerry Rice all of a sudden the past few weeks. Ever since his boy became OC, he's getting 20 targets a week.
Yeah.
And they're putting on trick plays just to embarrass us.
That was so dumb. They wasted that.
That was calculated. No, that was calculated.
Though?
It was calculated because
so they could use it again and not be a fake fumble.
Week 1 of last year when we played the Packers, Jordan Love fell out of his stance and completed a pass to his tight end by accident. So Ben Johnson went in his bag and dripped the same exact play except on purpose.
That goes back to the whole argument of
that's crazy.
You remember when Jared Goff fell down on that handoff in the Packers and Lions game, and people were trying to say he was taking a knee, and he should have been down.
Oh yeah,
this Packers fan was saying like he was trying to explain the rule, and he said when a quarterback intentionally takes a knee or immediately takes a knee after snapping the ball. I'm like, okay, first off, you don't understand the definition of immediately. Yeah. Second off, his intention was not to give himself up, or he wouldn't have handed the ball off. If his intention was to give himself up, he would have covered the ball up and ducked down and covered himself. But I think the guy was just trying to, make a scene on Twitter.
I'm with Luke. I think it was intentional. That I think it was intentional. It wanted to obviously intentional, but I think it was smart. Did you say the word calculated, Luke? Is that the word you used?
Yeah. He went deep in his bag to dig down on him.
Because for multiple reasons. Reason number one, every future Lions opponent has to throw that in their defense to prepare for it now. Reason number two, you are just embarrassing the Bears and this defense to show everyone, really, but specifically Kevin Warren and Virginia McCaskey. You better hire my ass, or you better seriously consider my ass. I mean, think back to Thanksgiving. They had Vita. They had fucking what's the tackle, the right tackle, throw a pass.
Did you say Vita? Were you gonna say Vita Vea, bro?
Not Vita Vea. It's Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell, but you're right. That was the name on the tip of my tongue because I watched the Bucs game last night. But Penei Sewell, they Penei Sewell throw a pass on us. He's just doing this shit because he knows he can get away with it with the Bears. Like, of course, what's the worst case scenario? it's an incomplete pass. Like, who gives a shit? That's what the worst case scenario is against the Bears. But two, is now everybody else has to prepare for it. And I think really more importantly, I think he's really saying, Virginia, you better hire me, or I'll.
Let me ask you a question. So why, when Ben Johnson does this stuff, is it going deep in his bag and you got to prepare for it? And the worst that could happen is this. But the other motherfucker that came here from Kansas City that would have done this shit, he's getting too cute. He's doing stupid shit.
I loved it in 2018 because it worked. It didn't really work in 2019.
Just saying though. So you want to hire Matt Nagy Jr.? Like, let's hire Ben Johnson right now.
Well, I think there's also a big difference in when you're calling that kind of shit and who your opponent is.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I said I think the waste of that play was a waste. Because like who your opponent is, like you didn't need to do that.
But does a good defense fall for that? Does a good defense fall for that?
I don't know. I can't honestly think of I didn't watch it more than once, so it was a waste. Whatever. It's dumb. He's dumb.
But also, Joe, to your point,
Ben
Johnson doesn't need to do anything. He doesn't need to do anything to tell the Bears to hire him. The Bears need to give him a good reason that they are a different organization than what they've been. And I truly don't believe they're going to prove it to him. I've been saying this for a while. I don't think if Ryan Poles is here, that guy's not going to accept this job. I say no shot. But I think they'll fire Ryan Poles because of it. But if he's here, I don't think he accepts this job.
I still think they screw it up.
Why would you want it?
That's why I've been so apathetic and so hard to really like. I don't give a shit because I still think they're going to fire Ryan Poles and then they're going to end up hiring Johnny who knows whoever, and they're not going to hire Ben Johnson because they're going to prove how smart they are, and it's not going to work, and it's just going to be more of the same old bullshit.
So why wouldn't you though, Lucas? Like even if you had to take Ryan Poles. Like at some point, Ben Johnson wants to be, like he's said multiple times, he wants to be a head coach. They've said that they'll spend a lot of money. A lot of people think Ben Johnson's going to get a shit ton of money. It's probably not going to be like the $15 million people are talking about, but it's going to be, 12, 13. Like, and you got Caleb, and you got Rome, and you got DJ Moore. I mean, at some point, you got to just be like, okay, like this is a good enough situation for me to take for the money and to showcase that I know what I'm doing. You're going to sit in fucking Detroit forever? Like just waiting for that perfect prime? That doesn't exist. The teams that are hiring coaches fucking suck.
I hear you. And then every once in a while you get a job like a Cincinnati that opens up because they can't get over the hump or whatever. And you got to jump on that when you get it. But I don't know. Detroit's going to keep paying him out the ass. He's going to keep getting a bunch of races there. He's going to have a chance to win.
He's not going to get
Super
15.
Bowl,
He's not going to get 12. He's not going to get like
no. But
I mean, what could he possibly
getting a lot of money
as an OC?
I'm just saying, some guys they want to run the show, but they don't have to jump on the first opportunity. I mean, we've seen him turn down. He turned down Washington last year, and they're a freaking playoff team this year.
Well, who's to say they would have been a playoff team with his dumb ass?
All right, so let me throw a hypothetical at both of you guys. Let's make you, Lucas Berry, or you, Chris Krogman, the hottest coach in football. You are the hot name. The Bears' job is attractive to you. Is how attractive to you? 1 to 10. 10 being, ooh, it's so hot I cannot turn my eyes away. And 1 being, ooh, so stinky and ugly. Lucas Berry, how hot, how attractive is that Bears job to a prospective free agent coach?
Current state, Ryan Poles is the GM? Or
today, right now, today. Well, you could project in a week and a half, and you could obviously it's your own answer. Answer it how you feel, but those are
in terms of like the entire NFL or in terms of just job openings this year?
Well, I think you kind of both, but yeah, I think that you're looking at job openings this year specifically when you're thinking about guys you're trying to hire. But on the whole, I mean, how attractive is the job? I think it's a number. I have a number in mind, but I'm curious to hear you fellas, ideas.
Overall, I would say a 6.
A 6 and why? Give me a little elaboration here. What do you think about this Bears job as a
I
perspective?
mean, you can make this argument for any of these openings because, like you guys alluded to, any of the teams needing a new coach or all the same teams that have been needing a coach for years, and they're just poorly run organizations. 2, I can say I don't give a fuck about the Bears' history or how old they are as a franchise. That does not matter to me one bit. So it doesn't sway my decision if I'm going to here or Las Vegas or New York. I don't care about the history of the Bears because that's irrelevant now, right? So the pros of it are you have ownership who are pretty stupid and they'll give you a fairly long leash. But I don't like the boss. The guy that's hiring me, I don't like him. And if they tell me Ryan Poles is in control, hell no. I'm running from that job. But you could sway me if you said, okay, Ryan Poles is here, but we're going to give you roster say and a fairly heavy fist in the draft and all that kind of stuff, personnel decisions. Okay, now you got me thinking. But if he's my boss and I'm reporting to him and he's making all the decisions, hell no. 6.
6 for Lucas Berry. Now, let me throw a wrinkle at you before I hear Chris Krogman.
Bro, Caleb Williams, though. Caleb Williams makes me want that job. That's pretty much the only reason.
Let me say that in 10 days or so, 15 days or so, the Bears have fired Ryan Poles and hired first-time general manager X. Doesn't matter. I don't give a shit who it is. Whatever.
I won't say and who's coming to be GM. And if that's the case, 10.
All right, you're the hottest GM.
You tell me I can bring my GM or assistant GM from where I'm at on a really good team, and I'm bringing him with me. 10, easy.
All right, Chris Krogman, same question. First part to you, and then we'll throw the wrinkle in there.
Okay, I'll keep it in order. I have questions for Lucas though. 8.
It's a pretty attractive. That was the number I thought. It's a pretty attractive job. Continue, elaborate.
As I said a couple weeks back, I think there's a 50-50 shot Poles is gone, if not a 60-40 shot. I do like if we're talking simply like like the target is Ben Johnson, and we're gonna keep it Bears 100 and butt fuck out of order as usual, and just hire the coach first, and then whatever GM we decide or he decides, whatever, like however that goes, it really doesn't matter if he has say in it or if we choose the GM after, as long as Johnson is the number one target, which is, it's fine. It's whatever. Because I honestly
Johnson though.
Am I? Is that what we said?
You're saying you're the hottest free agent coach.
You're the coordinator.
I'm Johnson. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're the hottest coach.
Or no, you're Chris.
Yeah, I still think Poles is gone, so I'm resting on that. And if not, like if I'm Ben Johnson,
but as the coordinator, you have this information.
Oh yeah, then yeah, it's at least an 8, if not higher, if not like an 8.5 or 9. It's the best fucking job on the market. If I have enough say in things. Regardless of how you want to structure that, whether I have roster control or I still like every good GM and coach work in tandem, and they have a very strong say in the players they get, whether or not they have control per se and final like execution. There's very few that actually have that. But I think that I think Poles is it's so funny how quickly things changed and how quickly we are highlighting the negatives and like things that are just like the guys that we thought were good last year just didn't become great, didn't become that much better. Like Dexter's having a solid year, but not like a breakout standout year. Velus Jones obviously is gone. Braxton Jones is much better than Amagaji, but that poor kid's in a fucked situation.
And now he's hurt.
And now he's hurt. He's done a terrible job on the offensive line. Like it just pulls his feet to the fire. God, they're fast as shit. Like he took a bullet train to being let go. And that press conference where Kevin Warren just babied him the whole time, just said so much. And to me, if I'm Poles, I'm not standing for that. And if I'm Warren, like, what good is Poles to me unless Warren's just looking for a yes man? But good God, Warren can't be the GM and president. Like I don't know. Then Poles just becomes like a paper. He almost becomes Ted Phillips at that point. Like then you say like they keep Poles, they hire Ben Johnson and just tell him, hey, Poles is just a paperweight. Like he's just a placeholder. He just has that title, but he doesn't do shit. You do everything. You have full say in all of it.
But I don't think Warren has enough knowledge to do that, right?
Enough what kind of knowledge?
Like to have all that control. Like, yeah, he doesn't
have to have the control. He hires
GM
Ben Johnson to do it. That's what I'm saying. He hires Ben Johnson to do that,
okay.
And then Poles just runs the scouting
department. Yeah, I got you.
Better.
Oh, I think you were saying you fire Poles and then he runs.
No. If you keep Poles, I don't think Poles stays.
He's just
because he's just there.
This feels like it really feels like a mutual agreement to part ways makes sense. Like some people still view what Poles did positively or not as badly as Bears fans. Warren obviously wants to get his GM a fresh start because he didn't hire the freaking guy. And if you let Poles go with a mutual agreement instead of firing him, he probably gets another shot as a GM in a few years after he
I don't think so.
Sits around as a scout. I think he would.
War criminal.
But
it would.
Did you?
How often does that happen? Like, how often does that happen? I mean, it happens with.
Did you?
Ryan Pace is virtually is almost the GM in Atlanta. I mean, he basically shares those duties.
Did you guys hear the Monday night broadcast when Aikman was just slobbering all over the job that Poles did? He was really going in on how good of a GM and all this Poles was. So I don't know if that was his agent doing work, getting in his ear, or outside public. I think outside public perception of Poles is fairly positive. I mean, obviously, people in the league know everything, and we see what we see as Bears fans. But I think people outside the Bears organization still view Poles as a fairly good GM and whatever, for whatever reason.
Well, they're idiots if they do.
I mean, without the Caleb trade, there's nothing else he's done positively.
No. And the thing that gets me is we bought all the bullshit he was laying down about the rebuild and doing things the right way. It was just like, you talked the big talk, but you didn't show us anything. And every single one of your signings flopped on its face. A lot of your picks didn't develop, like you said. And it's just like now we're at the point where 3 years into this, and it's like, what did you show us? Nothing. You talked the big talk and you did nothing.
He makes me want
if anything,
to say
you let more good players walk than actually signing good players.
He makes me want to say words that are even more inappropriate for this podcast, and we'll let it fly from time to time. But he just makes me so aggravated because, like you said, Luke, I did buy into we'll build through the draft and this. Think about the draft picks in the third round: Kieran Amagaji, Velus Jones. Was Tory Taylor a third or a fourth rounder?
It was a fourth rounder,
right? You get some of these picks that are supposed to be starters, and I know we disagreed on Velus, okay, but like it
was a bad pick. So it is what it is.
So some of these picks are just you've hit on some picks, great, but how many damn offensive linemen did you swing at late and just turned into nothing? I appreciate Darnell Wright. I think that he's a good tackle.
A good tackle.
Good, not great. Good.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Good. He's
Yeah.
a B plus.
Right now.
He's a B plus. He could be an A minus when he's healthy. I know he's played a lot of this year not healthy, but goodness gracious, the whole damn line's played not healthy because for some reason the offensive line coach is just, I don't know, over the last had been awful.
Did you guys read the article where
Sure.
Dan Wiederer flamethrowed polls?
I read parts of it. What
Even if
you
you
take?
did or didn't. Well, what I took from it was it seemed intentional. It seemed placed at a very specific time. And if you, I mean, you can buy into it or you can't, but the fact of the matter is Dan Wiederer and Kevin Warren worked together in Minnesota. And I think that was intentionally leaked by Warren to kind of taint Pohl's resume a little bit. Because the public perception on him was too high, like I said. But the article wasn't unfair at all. I mean, it went through basically everything that Poles did. And really, you just look at it and it's like, well, what the hell, man? Like, this is on you. Is it possible, Chris, that Warren is throwing him under the bus like that through the media?
Totally.
Didn't Wiederer spend time covering the Vikings?
Yeah, that's what I said. They worked together in Minnesota.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I was answering a work message when you said that. But and it's exactly possible, and I think it's more than possible. I think it's probable.
Yeah, because there was a lot of inside source information in that unnamed source, but sources that only you would in the building know this kind of shit.
From the top. From the tippy top.
Yeah. Right. And then later that day, I think Johns released an article or something saying about some good thing that Poles did, and it was like a quarter of the length and not nearly as in detail. So I'm just like, okay, seems like he's firing back. There's not as much positive stuff to say.
Jeez, the freaking just. Yeah, I'm buying them Broncos jerseys. I'm not letting my kids be Bears fans.
That's why I
Chris-
asked. Just like, oh, don't curse you, don't curse our little brothers. I mean, we all want to be family and cheer for the same team, but so give them a different fate.
I wanted to hear it. Chris had some questions for me about my grade if I was the hottest OC. I wanted to hear those. Might have forgotten.
No, I think I either misunderstood. I don't know. So, yeah, you said if I get to bring my own guy, like that's just, yeah. I'm curious how that would work. Because, like, okay, so the scenario, like the multiple scenarios are Poles, like just with Johnson. So Johnson's the head coach, right? So Poles and Johnson that's fucking hilarious. Oh my god, it's too many innuendos.
I didn't even think of that. That's funny.
Okay, so we got Poles, Dancer, Johnson. Okay, so Poles and Johnson, or Johnson and Agnew.
Johnson.
He brings Ray Agnew from the Lions. Like, I'm just curious what it would look like, what it could look like, or who else would there be as a possible GM that would fit with Ben Johnson. And then if they are going to let go of Poles, let's say first, could we see a GM before Johnson's hired? And if it is, like, if they just, like, let go of Poles and hire Ray Agnew immediately, I mean, does that not just scream Ben Johnson's, like, the hire? Like, it's probably it'd already be, like, a done deal.
Yeah. I don't really know how. I don't know how they would go about that, honestly. I mean, I know the Bears do everything backwards, but I think they would want to talk to these coaches simultaneously as the GMs.
Does that make you think that we're waiting here until the Lions are in the playoffs to really do anything at all? Does Poles just
Well, no,
No,
you
'cause you
can
can
if the
interview-
Lions, yeah, if the
You can
Lions get the
interview
bye
as
week,
soon as
you
the
can
regular season's over.
you can interview Johnson. Well, I think you can interview a team of the bye week after
Yeah.
3 days after their season ends. And
Yep.
then if they play in the divisional round, you can't interview them until after the divisional round. But the first interview has to be virtual. And then if said
Do
team
they have
goes to
the bye
Super
right
Bowl,
now?
you can interview them in person. Yeah, they're the number 1 seed. They beat us, and then the Eagles lost yesterday, so they're in the driver's seat for that.
fly, Eagles, fly?
I can't believe that. Jaden Daniels went bananas.
Well, if one
They
quarterback
turned the ball over 5 times, and they won.
He threw 5 touchdowns too.
Oh, I'm not saying he played great. I'm just saying it's crazy that they won that game with 5
Yeah.
turnovers.
Brian Robinson,
No, Daniels looked.
let me down. Only one point or something.
He got kicked out of the game or
I'm
whatever.
pretty sure
got
he
hurt.
fumbled.
He fumbled.
He kept
That's what it
fumbling.
was. He
Got a
fumbled.
couple more
He fumbled
points.
twice and got kicked out. Yeah, that's right. Or got pulled. Kicked out. The ref said, "You're fumbling too much. You're out of here."
You cannot play in the
Get
National
out.
Football League. Relegated to the UFL.
Joe, you didn't answer us. What do you think you would rate the Bears head coach opening if you were the hot coordinator, Joe Gaither, coordinator from Alabama?
I do think it's about a 7-8 because of the flexibility in because you still Ryan Poles started this move to start to kind of add these pieces, but you're not hamstrung cap wise by any move. You've got Caleb Williams,
Right, but does it worry you at all that your boss is on the hot seat essentially and has to win next year, and that falls on you? Your his job security falls on you winning.
No, because look at the damn film this year. To me, this roster should be sitting right there in the we're in the hunt wild card position in the 7 wild card seats now or 6 or whatever in that 7th seat. This roster,
you're in the mindset that the roster is talented enough. They're just not coached well enough.
Fuck yes.
Okay, see, that's where I think our big difference is and where I don't like Ryan Poles very much.
Well,
I don't think the roster is good at all.
In certain places. And with that, and in certain key places, like corner, like quarterback, I think those are key places. I think that you can, with the assets that you have, add enough to this team could have won. I mean, you think you said the roster's not good enough? You still could have won through. You left 3 or 4 games out there. I mean, they were out there. You lost the Colts, who were fucking terrible. And we don't even have to talk about the Hail Mary. Like, there are games that are out there that this roster could have won with just a little better coaching. So is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. Is it championship level? Probably not even that. But it is good enough to compete with, and this team's not even competitive.
I agree. I don't think it's a bad roster. I mean, there are some bad pieces and there were some bad contracts, but like, I don't know what's going on with Montez Sweat, man. That dude is just.
They're all checked out. They're all checked.
I think that's a lot of it. They are all checked out.
Fucking hear DJ Moore after the game?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I'm paying attention just a little bit, but he's
talking about Cancun.
Yes, the post there after the locker room and DJ, what's on your mind? What's on your mind as you laced the last couple of weeks? He goes, vacation.
Vacation.
Just one word, deadpan vacation.
He's always deadpan though.
Sure, but
he's
just
the most uninspiring person ever.
And I appreciate the honesty, I guess, because thank you for not giving me bullshit. Well, we're just going to try to work hard and get better for next week and score some touchdowns and get open. But at least you're honest. Well, like, that's where the team is. I think the whole team's there.
Winning Joe Gaither a fantasy football championship?
No, not DJ Moore.
Oh. You still have Swift? That guy's.
No, I got rid of Swift a while back.
That's unfortunate. I mean, that he didn't pan out.
I got rid of Swift for Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Did you guys see Cole Kmet's post game where he was just like they were like asking him about
positives?
Yeah, positives, and he's like basically I'm too old for this shit. Like I've been doing this too long for to take any positives. When you lose 34-17, there's really not a lot to take away from it. And he's like, well, what about Caleb getting better? He's like, oh yeah, sure. Those young guys, they want to take something great. That's awesome. They get better, yeah, that's awesome. But no, we suck. Like, fuck.
At least they targeted him in the red
zone. All right.
At least they targeted him.
Barely throwing the ball.
Yeah, they gave him a touchdown.
How many yards does he have on the year, Joe?
Fuck you. God damn it. What was even the number? Was it 750?
That wasn't even his fault, though. Like, the reason you gave wasn't even his fault. It's not like
Luke said they love Gerald Everett in the they're going to work a role for him. They're going to work a role for him.
He basically did, and then Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze he'd lose targets.
Well, now they are getting all the targets.
And our man, Golden Domer, squeezed out of the offense despite being probably the most consistent player on the offense.
I don't know if he is anymore. You're looking at even he's missing like all these guys that I don't know. All these guys we were so on, and maybe the loser.
You thought he'd have 750 yards, Joe?
Was that the number that we said?
I don't know. I thought I said 500.
Was it on your? I think you put a poll out or something like that.
He's gonna hit 500.
What is he at though? No, I'm not even joking. What is he at?
He's at 471.
Yeah, he should get 500. He only needs 15 a week.
I hear you, but
we put it on Believe in Monster, didn't we?
Honestly not that. I mean, we're freaking bear goggles, so we're gonna inflate it, but that's not that bad.
Keenan Allen has like 50 targets the past 3 weeks. Ever since his fucking buddy from LA turned into the OC, they're just like, yeah, throw it to Keenan every play.
Oh, fucking guy catches the ball though.
Someone's
pad. Dude, I saw something that said Keenan Allen only has like 2 drops this year. I'm like, he literally dropped 5 passes.
Yeah. The line was 500.
I thought I was checked out from this season. And then when I watched that Minnesota game, nothing made me more mad than Keenan Allen dropping. I lost my mind when I saw him drop 4 passes in a fucking row. I haven't been that mad at the Bears in forever. I don't know why that's what triggered me, but I was just like, Caleb is struggling, and this old motherfucker is just dropping passes that are right in his freaking hands. Like, why do we pay him? Why do we give him a 4th-round pick? And then the past 2 weeks, he just follows it up with 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, 150 yards, touchdown.
The line, we tweeted it at Believe in Monsters on July 10th. Due to the additions of Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett, along with the quarterback likely to spread the ball around, will Cole Kmet go over or under 500 yards receiving in 2024? We only had 16 votes, but 93% said over. That was the line we must have set on a podcast, 500 yards.
And that was a generous line, though, too.
But he's going to hit that, too.
Yeah, he's probably going to hit that, though. Or wait, what you call us line makers? Believe in Monsters line makers, dude.
No, well, when was that tweeted? I'll dig up the audio from the podcast.
July 10. July 10.
All right, we're gonna dig up some audio. Doesn't matter. Disappointing
Pass
season.
And D-backs is the positional breakdowns. Pass catchers and D-backs.
So
bags.
They all sucked anyways. Every single one of them.
If you had to pick the Bears coach for next season today, who do you think it is? Joe Gaither, I remember a couple of weeks ago you said Vrabel. Have you changed your mind?
Who am I hiring or am I predicting the hire?
No, you're predicting. I remember a few weeks ago, I think you predicted Vrabel.
I'm predicting the
Who you thinking
higher.
now.
Fuck, all the smoke is really leaning to Ben Johnson, but I'm still in the camp. They're gonna fuck it up and they're gonna hire Vrabel.
Chris?
Ben Johnson.
I hope you're right, Chris.
I think Ben Johnson as well.
I mean, the signs are all pointing there. I hope. I'm just taking the swerve angle.
There's no reason not to. The contrarian angle is probably the smart money.
Well, one, there's no reason not to, and two, I'm not even over here celebrating that it's Ben Johnson because I don't think he's this magnificent lock to be a great head coach. I just want them to do the logical thing for once. Hey,
That's what.
If you screw up doing the logical thing, I don't care. Because let's face it, they did that when they hired Nagy, and Matt Nagy was a lot better than people gave him credit for compared to some of these other fucking slop buckets.
You went to the playoffs twice. You won a damn division.
You won 12 games. It was the best freaking season I've ever seen. So I don't want to hear this.
So much fun.
Yeah, the guy was an arrogant asshole. But
2018 was so much fun.
Way better than these guys.
2018, I felt feelings for the Bears.
That was my favorite Bears season ever.
Yeah, for real. So I'm with you, Luke. My friends were asking me about this, and they were, you should hire Vrabel. And I was like, I just want them to hire Ben Johnson. Go for the hot commodity. Go for everybody should hire this guy. This is the number one candidate guy. If they fuck it up with him, it's fine. They're gonna mess it up anyways. I'd rather them. They're like, well,
you need to take the culture.
And I said, well, he's probably going to go.
You've got to take the chance.
7-10 the first year, then 9-8 the next year, and then it's all going to fall apart the third year, and we're all going to be talking about culture. Blah, blah.
You've got to take the chance that you're getting the next McVay or Shanahan or whoever. You got to take the chance. Right.
So, did you guys see that Dan Orlovsky thing today talking about how
stupid? It pissed me off.
You didn't agree with it?
No.
Well, what was it? I didn't see it. Give me a DO's take.
He basically said that Caleb doesn't take easy completions or doesn't get easy completions, doesn't work in rhythm to get completions, and that
Jared Goff does.
No, he didn't really say that. He was saying like Sean Payton. Well, yes, he did, but not because Ben Johnson sets it up that way. He doesn't set up easy completions. He sets it up because Jared Goff knows how to play quarterback.
That's my biggest complaint with Caleb is not snapping it off right there.
But like that, like other OCs are building things around their quarterback, like Sean Payton and Cliff Kingsbury and things like that for the quarterbacks they have, where like Ben Johnson's really not doing that, wouldn't really be doing that for Caleb. Like he can do it for Jared Goff just because he's been doing it for so long, but like that their plays work, but like there's nothing like super easy about that offense, which I don't know enough about offensive schematics and what Johnson's doing. Like his biggest thing to me is his run game, dude. His run game is elite.
I think he's blowing smoke, one, because Jared Goff is the only quarterback he's really had to work with that's notable, right? So how do we know he's not going to build an offense? Like, if he's this offensive mastermind, you expect him to craft his offense for his quarterback. So if he crafted an offense for Jared Goff, what makes you think he's not going to put some concepts in there that Caleb would be good with, especially if he's coming here for Caleb, right? Number two, you're right, Chris. He mixes the run and the pass, and those easy buttons he's talking about are almost like stupid cheat codes in these offenses that I don't think are sustainable. If you look at Bo Nix, what he did the other night versus the freaking Chargers, I'm pretty sure his average air yards was like 2 yards because they just roll him out, play act. Like, it's all the shit you do when your quarterback isn't good enough to throw downfield, which we obviously know Caleb is. So that's why I'm saying this bullshit. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And if Ben Johnson's worth his grain of salt, he's going to change his offense to make it work here.
Well, the crazy thing is, like, he doesn't have any kind of. He doesn't come from like a McVay tree or like a Air Raid tree. Like he actually learned under Patricia, which is the same offense that fucking Waldron ran, which is crazy.
I do have that is my biggest complaint with Caleb Williams is that he will pass up easy throws holding on the ball. But I attribute that to his first natural ability to extend plays, and second to being a rookie and needing to understand in the NFL it's fine to take a 5-yard completion. It's fine to just keep the chains moving. But I think he'll get there. I don't have
his best stretch all year. He did those things.
Right.
He did it versus the Jaguars. He did it versus all them teams when he was killing it. I think he'll get season.
I think in patience he will improve in that area. And if Ben Johnson's the coach, he's still going to have plays where the first read's going to be open, and you just got to go ahead and pull the trigger and hit.
That's the other thing. Are we just like? I know what you're saying, Chris, about like no easy buttons. Like Jared Goff isn't just dumping down to the back all the time, but he's got receivers running wide open all the freaking time.
Answers, yes.
He's also got a fucking awesome set of weapons. Like
so do we.
We don't have Ben Johnson though.
Yet. Oh my god, dude! Every time the Saints get near the red zone, the rat. He's gonna kill me.
What happened?
They were on the 20-yard line. He just made an insane pass, and he threw a pick.
Oh.
I'm going to lose.
Oh my God.
I'm tied right now. If they don't score, I'm done.
For those keeping track at home, Lucas is in the semifinals for his fantasy or our fantasy football league, and he's going against the Packers defense.
No, not only that. I was up by 45 yesterday, and he had Brendan Aubrey, who had 21 points. The fucking greatest game ever for a kicker. Yeah, a kicker and a defense, and I was up 45.
I am also playing against Aubrey. I'm playing against Jacobs.
I lost against Jake Moody on a Sunday night in like this first or second week of the year. Motherfucker had like 26 points. And I was like, this is unreal. And I had Deebo Samuels going. And I was up. I had a lead and I had Deebo, and all he had was a kicker. The kicker beat me and a lead and Deebo. It was ridiculous. So this is what Gemini says. Ben Johnson, the OC for the Lions, runs an offense that's influenced by a variety of schemes. West Coast offense from Kevin Rogers and Darrell Bevell. The Manning offense, which is essentially Matt Patricia and the Waldron offense that he was trying to run. Martz's digit passing attack, which is basically every route is a digit. So it's like 2-1-2, red cobra, 2-1-2, blah, blah, blah. And that's your route concept. Johnson's offense is characterized by condensing formations and play call verbiage, collaboration and listening to players, a diverse run scheme, and with an even split between power and zone runs, an unpredictable style designed to stress opposing defenses, and individualized packages for plays for each player. Love it. Adapt and attack.
Let's do it. Adapt and attack. All in on Ben Johnson. Who the hell are the Bears even playing this week? We do need to mention
Seahawks. Isn't that what Lucas just said?
That is what he said. It is the Seahawks on Thursday. The Seahawks are a 3.5-point favorite in Chicago. You want any comments on this game before we say goodnight to the people?
Loss.
Jackson Smith and Jigba, 1 million points, hopefully.
If you're still playing.
If Josh Jacobs doesn't rip my heart out.
What's the over under?
Shit.
Over under is 43.5.
Damn, I was gonna say 43.
Well, you called it. Loss. Loss.
It's in
loss.
Chicago.
It's in Chicago. Loss.
Seattle is falling apart. They were playing really well, and now they're falling apart. I'm going to say 24-20 Seahawks.
I like
Yeah,
that.
but they can get in the playoffs with this. I just don't see how we're going to stop them passing the ball. We can't stop anything right now. Yeah, Chris is probably spot on. I'm saying 27-23. Seahawks.
I'll just stick along those lines and combine some of y'all's. I'll go 27-17. How about that? That's what I think. 27-17.
27-17. Everybody with
Seahawks.
the over.
Seahawks. For loss number what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row. That Hail Mary has sparked out the
broken
Bears on a currently 9-game losing streak, and we'll see if they can extend it to 10 games on Thursday night. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.